Monday. It is 8:15. It is June 7th. I'm in my little makeshift office. This used to be my dining room, but since my kids don't come over anymore, I live in a shoebox and they all live in mini mansions, I've turned this into my office. I wanted to show you my new apparatus that I got. I've been doing all those cooking videos, or at least trying to. And I needed an overhead tripod. Now, it took me a hot minute, and over on TikTok, it took me longer than I needed it to figure this thing out. I am not mechanically inclined. I don't use tools real well, and it takes me a while to figure out, like, how to open something, how to make it work properly. But this is a Lonnie. I picked it up off of the TikTok shop. Has a remote, so you can take pictures, start video. But the cool thing about this that I liked, I always have a hard time trying to figure out how these things open. Hang on, it's gonna take me a minute. There we go. So, like any other, tripods, got this sturdy stand, but this is the cool thing. And then your phone sticks to it, and then this is the part that took me a minute to figure out. You take this, and then this opens like this, and then you hang it, and you can do your overhead shots. So that way, when I'm doing my cooking demos, you don't have to necessarily just look at me. You'll be able to see what I am cooking or how I'm doing something. I needed this. I really did. I needed it in my life. But how are you this morning? Try not to stab myself with it. How are you this morning? What are you going to do today? I haven't decided what I'm doing yet. Looks like it's going to rain here in St. Louis this morning. This extends out too, look. Anyway, I love it. I love it. I barbecued. I grilled last night. The kid worked. I'm trying to figure out how to close this. The kid worked, and here we go. I felt like I wanted to grill. I hadn't grilled in a while, so I thought I would. So I made chicken last night, some Italian sausage, and some bratwurst. This is what I am discovering. I do not like the Italian sausage and the bratwurst that I have been buying, and I really, really need to find a better supplier of where I get my sausages from. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. But did I say I'm Kitryn Marie, I reside in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm an artist, writer, speaker, life and a business coach, published author, When He Had Her, available on Amazon. Trying to figure out what I'm going to do today. Trying to make myself leave the house. If you looked into any of my other videos that I've done, been doing a lot of stuff with my dogs. My bigger dog, I've had to put her now on a tether because she literally was like this much of going over the fence after somebody, and we can't do that. Been working on that back fence. I have been planting and planting and planting flowers and vegetables and all those good things that we do for our garden and our yard to make it look like the botanical gardens. But here yesterday, she was like almost over the fence, and we can't do that. So the bigger dog now is tethered. The girls are fine. They do what they need to do in the yard. Friday, it took me all day to work on the front yard. All day to work in the front yard. I weed-eated everything. I got in there and I got all of the weeds out of the garden. I planted some more flowers. Hello, everyone that is on. I have all my comments turned off because I just didn't feel like I wanted to respond to a comment. Sorry, nothing personal. Sometimes people just don't know how to behave, and I'm not in the mood today. But I'm trying to make myself leave my house. This is my point. I'm trying to make myself leave the house. how do you do it? I never made it over to the produce place, which I probably should do today until my harvest comes in. I still need to go to the produce. I ordered groceries yesterday from Aldi. I went and picked them up to make myself leave the house. And then I came back home and worked in the yard. My neighbor up the block around the corner, she brought me 5 elephant ears that does my heart good. So now I have to figure out where I'm planting them. I mean, they are beautiful. My banana trees did not come back. My cannas are up about that big. But today I'm going to leave the house, and I'm not real sure where I'm going, how I'm going to do it, or where I think I need to be. I had bought, I don't know if I said this in a video earlier, for my camera, and then it goes on your camera, and then when you take your pictures and you put your phone here so you can do dual things, it's not compatible to my camera. That makes me sad, because when I use my camera, that gets me out of my house. It gives my mind, my eyes view something else to focus on, and I'm having a hard time. I'm having a real hard time focusing on what's next, what else is happening in life, because the current last 2 years is not working any longer at all. It's not working. It's like I want to get in my car and I want to go, but every time I get in my car, something else kind of comes up with the car, and I'm like, that's one more cost that I need to put into this vehicle that I don't want to have. Did I tell you, because I know I repeat myself and I'm so sorry if I do, I had a slow leak a month ago in my back left tire. Now these are all relatively new tires. They put newer tires or new tires on the vehicle before I bought it. I am the 4th owner of this Jeep. It's got some, I don't know, things I could not figure out in it. I had to have my kid figure it out, because he's real good about going on to YouTube and figuring out how to do things. Well, now the radio doesn't work. The speakers don't work. The newer tires, I veered there a minute. The newer tires, I had a slow leak in the back left to find out I had a nail in it, because it went completely flat. Had that fixed. That I could do. $40 to get the nail taken out. 2 weeks later, after I'm driving around nilly-willy crazy trying to get to my daughter's, and there was that accident on the highway and then a major storm and everything, my back right tire lost air. Went from 40 pounds down to 20 pounds. The other 3 tires are fine, but that one, slow leak. So I take it to my regular tire place that I go to here on South Broadway and towards Telegraph. They charged me $10 just to check the air. The guy did pull it off, and I'll give it that, but they could not figure out why there's a slow leak. And he said that the seal on the rim might be broke, might be loose, and they wanted to charge me $30 for that. Can't I buy just a new tire for $75, $125? But then again, it goes back to, you don't buy one tire, you buy 2 tires. So what am I looking at? I don't need another tire. I just need this one to figure out why it's leaking. $10 to check air. I had an issue with that. Should I have not have had an issue with that? So on top of a bad tire, I did put gas in it yesterday. You put gas in it. $20 got me barely. I was on a 4th. It didn't even get me to 3/4. Little over half, $20 in the tank. I'm going to be due for an oil change. The common things that you do for your vehicle. I don't even know what an oil change cost anymore, because the last one I had done fell under the warranty kind of thing with the vehicle that I fought with the dealership to have everything done. So it just so happened, now I'll backtrack on that story. So, bought the vehicle. There was a series of things that were wrong with it. They probably should have never sold the vehicle at the time that they did. It was like 9 things were wrong with the car that I had to keep taking it back to the dealer. The oil change, I had to go to somebody else to do it, and because they saw how many things that were wrong with the vehicle that I had to have repaired, they basically did it for next to nothing, which I was very, very, CarMax was who took care of it, which I was very, very thankful for that. But it was like the dealership, they started to do the oil change and they changed all the filters and everything, and they left it with like absolutely no oil. So by the time I went to go get that, new oil change, they're like, ma'am, do you realize you're running on this kind much oil? Now, if you know my post-traumatic stress disorder with my Sonata that I used to have, it burned oil continuously. It leaked out of the seals. So I'm a little hyper strong when it comes to the oil in this car, and because I've had so many different things wrong with the vehicle since I bought it. Bought it in April of last year, so it's a little over a year old to me, but it's a 2016 Jeep. And from everybody that I've spoken to, Jeeps are notorious for always having things wrong with them. Hang on a second. Leave her alone. Hey, leave her alone. Hey, leave her alone. So anyway, back to, I want to leave my house today. I want to go do something. It's like I have this intrepidation of I get into the vehicle and what is going to happen when I get on the road. And I have a really good now mechanic who's in my neighborhood, Spirit One, over here on Gravois. Highly, highly recommend them. I can take the vehicle in and they'll say, they'll assess everything. And like the last time, the heat went out on it in the wintertime. And he said, yeah, you're going to need the heat, but we got to pull the dash all off. And then the motor mount on it that the dealership was supposed to replace had broken, so the car rattled. I knew that from the Sonata. What else? The sway bar in the Jeep, it had broken. That was my last straw with the dealership. And finally the dealership, the owner or manager, he said, please don't come back here. He goes, take it someplace else. He said, let somebody else honor your warranty. Well, I was just like, but isn't that why you have a warranty on a vehicle? But now it's surpassed that. The Jeep has almost 100,000 miles on it, which is fine. I don't go anywhere, but I want to. And then this morning I was thinking, my favorite place on the planet, it isn't Disney World. It's a close to Gatlinburg, close run with Gatlinburg, because that is home to me, Seaverville, Gatlinburg, that whole area. But I want to get to Table Rock. Let me see if I can pull it up. I normally stay at Artilla Cove on Indian Point. I should have pulled this up before. But it's like, my birthday's coming up July. Usually I take a vacation about that time. Now I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it this time or another, but I'm going to pull this up because I'm going to tell you how much they have gone up. And you have to stay 5 to 7 days. You no longer can stay 3 days. But this is like one of my most favorite. Look it up, Artilla Cove, Table Rock, Branson, Missouri. Let's go to the website. I mean, this place is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Let's do that. Let's do this. Let's look for prices. Cabins. I normally stay in, let's see if it does pictures. I normally stay in, is it this one? Give me a minute. This one. Cabin 3. It's a large 2-room cottage. It has a full kitchen, a living room, queen bed, double bed, sofa bed, 1 bath, and a deck that overlooks the lake. I'm not kidding. This place is my favorite place on the planet. I could live in Table Rock, no problem. Kimberling City, anywhere in that area. I have been there so many times. I know the back of the roads. Anyway, let's see how much this is. Cabin 3. I'm going to book it. I'm going to pretend like. All right, my birthday's July 17th, so let's just pretend. Let's pretend. July, we're gonna just say, let's just say the 15th through, because you have to stay till the 20th. Search. Cabin 3. It's $145 a night. $145 a night. Is that a lot? It used to be $80, $90. $145. If you stayed in cabin 6, what's cabin 6? Let me go back. Hang on. Cabin 6, it was $260 a night. Cabin 6, and I know you can't see this but you need to look it up. Look up Artilla Cove, Branson, Missouri. Highly, highly recommend this place. Cabin 7, cabin 6, that's what I said, $260 a night. Deluxe 2-room suite, has a kitchen, living room, king bed, sofa bed, 1 bath, 1 tub, 1 shower, spacious cookout area, lakefront. Everything at this place is lakefront, lake view. Has a king bed. It is right by the pool, I believe. I mean, they have several different cabins. My point being, usually in July is when I take a small little vacation. Am I going to be able to do it this year? Probably not. With the way things are at the restaurant, I really have not heard back too much from any of the jobs that I'm looking for. You know, and then it was kind of like, okay, and I'm jumping subjects again, so bear with me. At the restaurant where I'm working, our business is so low, and my tips, because I have to share them, and I'm still in food and beverage because all of my classes and all the things that I teach in my business really, really took a dive. I had one vision board class last summer. It was a private class. Prior to that, no painting classes. Was trying to get on at the community college to teach, how to write a book. Since I am a published author, I am very qualified to teach the continuing education part. Didn't hear back from them, and they had openings. My point being, when you are already stretching all your money and you're trying to figure out how to maintain your car, how to stay in your house, how to take care of all your pets, how to buy groceries, how to whatever bare minimum in life, knowing you're mentally struggling, you need to leave your house, you need to do things, you need to participate in life, and things that you have done previously in years, like going to this place, to Artilla Cove, and in Branson, Missouri. And you're looking at the money that you have now and what you have to put out for a vacation. You have this thing in your head where you're like, what is going on? Why is this happening like this? And what am I going to do to change the situation when your outside circumstances are not moving forward? What do? It's like, I know mentally for myself, I need a vacation so bad. I need to leave this area. I need to forget about life as it is and just focus on something else. So as I was buying all of this new equipment, it was with that in mind, because if you do not make one sort of little move, nothing ever changes. But when you are in fawn and freeze and you can't make yourself do anything, and I'm not depressed. I don't get depression like that. But I'm like, what has happened in the atmosphere in itself other than cost? Not being able to, afford the life that you're used to. And then you want to go do and you want to venture out and you can't. And you feel defeated. You feel defeated. And, I was thinking yesterday too, my horse, she sadly passed away a year ago. I was spending an extra $800 a month. Now, when my person was in my world, he was helping tremendously with her, with feed and so on, all the things that go with owning a horse. But $800 a month I was putting out. I had that $800 to put out. If she was still alive, I would not have that $800 to put out. That's how much my finances has changed. Thank God this last paycheck was a third paycheck in the month. That allowed me to catch up a little bit. And as I'm looking at, okay, we are June 7th, phone's coming out here, the payment for the phone. My car insurance is going to be coming out. A car payment is going to be coming out. And mind you, I work. I go into a place, I promote all of my stuff. With income being down, what do? How do you afford life? What is the ticket? And how are you doing it? It's not just about me. What did I read yesterday? Because, I try to stay up on it economically. In the economic forum, they're still saying unemployment, it is 4.3%. They are lying through their teeth. The stock market is really, really down. If unemployment was, if I'm reading this correctly, if unemployment was being reported correctly and we were all functioning as a whole, stock market would be through the roof. It would be through the roof. When the economy is going really well and the stock market is up, that's typically when the Federal Reserve raises rates while the stock market is down. They're lying about unemployment, and the feds are getting ready to raise the rates again. Make it make sense. Somebody is not reporting the truth. So what is the fear basis behind all of the untruths? And if you read the economic forum, the way that it's being reported, look at your own bank account. It goes back to I get paid this Friday coming up. So two weeks ago, week and a half ago. Right now in my bank account, their money is such a private thing. Knowing the car insurance is going to come out, knowing my phone is going to come out, Google is messing with my whole email and everything, which they're saying I need to buy, subscribe. So I have $220 in my bank account right now till I get paid on Friday, knowing those three things are going to come out of that $220. Now I can stretch 15 cents. But if you do not have that little bit to stretch, how are you surviving? And what are you doing? And what does any kind of vacation look like for you? And then you're dealing with the mental stresses of You don't like your job. You don't like the people you surround yourself with. You don't like the environment that you were forced to go to. And you want to do something different, and you want to, leave, and you want to try to participate in life, and you find yourself that you are stuck in fun and freeze. And I think that's where I'm at. And I don't have a problem telling anybody that, because so many different people are in that same situation and they don't know how to put a name to it. They can't attach themselves to the stigma that they are going through. And the only reason I know all that is because of the life coaching and psychology stuff that I have studied. Again, it comes down to the outside world and the economic parts of life. It has a trickle-down effect, and it very much affects you personally when you know you were used to living a certain kind of lifestyle, and you're no longer allowed to do that. It goes back to, what are you being made to believe? And if you look back to the fear-mongering that took place in 2019 and 2020, it played over and over in all of our heads, where you didn't know what the truth was. You didn't know the reality of the real situation. And it very much affected you physically, very much affected you mentally, and it made you just want to give up with trying to participate in life. Usually I enjoy going to the grocery store. I love being able to walk through the grocery store. I know what I want. I know what I'm going to cook. In the last 6 months, going to the grocery store takes more out of me than it does going into a job I no longer want to go into. A job I'm going into where I'm not making any money. So it's kind of like, why am I here? What is the purpose other than to keep a door open for somebody else and for somebody else to collect their higher salary? Now, when I'm going into the grocery store, on top of the fact that I'm stretching 15 cents to try to feed me and my kid, it's like people are in the same boat. They are in the same frame of mind. It's like zombies. And I know there's a game, is it the Sims game, where, people are in this robotic kind of movement. They're looking at things. They're looking at prices. They're looking at what they typically buy in order to get through the week. And then they're like, well, I can't do that. And so going to the grocery store, dealing with that energy, and do not think for one moment that energy does not radiate when you have an environment of miserable human beings trying to function. So when I say I want to leave my house, where am I going? What am I going to do? I don't want to be around a bunch of people anymore. I just don't. I've been spending so much time in my backyard with my dogs. I know I need to start walking again. I'm actively looking for a whole other position before I really get to retire. Trying to take care of myself physically. I don't want to get sick, being stressed out, trying to figure out how life is going to work. How are you doing it? Now again, it's just not me. It is a whole collective that is dealing with the same thing, that they cannot put a name or a title to how they are feeling. And they don't understand the source in which is creating their way of lack right now. And I'd like to say I do talk about these things in my vision board class. When we're talking about finance, and we're talking about career, and we're talking about change in the way that you work your job. The older we get, we want to work smarter. We don't want to work harder. I don't want to do a physical job anymore. The body at almost 65 cannot do it. When I was working in the yard on Friday, I was weed eating because the lawnmowers broke. That is my physical activity. Did I overdo it on Friday? Of course I did, because in my mind I'm thinking I can still go. I can still do. I can do it like I've always done before. I used to be able to do the front yard and the backyard all in one day. Now I have to piecemeal because the body physically cannot do. And if I'm not able to do in my own home to take care of the things, how am I going to do a job that is paying me nothing to be physical? Can you relate? What is your job? Are you physical in your job? Are you able to do all the things that you need to do? And then are you able to come home and continue in that momentum, not having the stamina that you used to? One, because you were just mentally depleted. But I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear from you. Also, if anybody, wants to buy me a coffee, I have linked my Cash App. It is $Kitryn Marie 17. If you want to buy me a coffee, if you appreciate anything that I say, anything that I talk about, I would love to know how you appreciate the information that I am giving to you. It's those little things in life. It is those little things that we can all do for another, because we all want to get out of this state. We all want to be able to see what the end result is going to be and what is on the other side. We know life right now is difficult. How are you sharing what you are going through? What is the resolve? What are you hoping to accomplish with whatever it is that you are applying yourself to in this life, in this world, in this spot that you are in? I would love to hear from you. By all means, leave a comment after this. You can send me an email at kitrynmarie@gmail.com. If you're interested in any of my classes, group painting classes, minimum of 12, it's $48 a person. I provide all the supplies. If you're interested in a vision board class, so you can figure out your own puzzle pieces and why life no longer is working for you and what you would like to see on the other side. You provide all the materials at $65. If you are interested in a business coaching class where you have a talent, a gift, you want to learn how to monetize your hobby, I do teach that class. It is $95. The key to all of it is to be able to speak, market, promote. Leave the cat alone, girls. Leave him alone. When you have a menagerie, there's always something going on. But the whole idea is to be able to promote who you are, brand your identity, talk about who you are, what you do, and what kind of life that you were trying to live. Again, I am Kitryn Marie, an artist, writer, speaker, life and a business coach, reside in St. Louis, Missouri, published author When He Had Her, available on Amazon. For today, for tomorrow, be happy, be blessed, be thankful for everything. Remember, fate turns on a dime, and it is up to you to decide what side of that coin you want to be on. Somehow, some way, life will work for you once you understand the backstory, who's reporting what, and how you are looking at your own finances. We can only cut out so many things when you are already living bare minimum. And we're tired of living bare minimum. It's time for us to move forward. It's time for you to address what it is in your life and giving it a name. Because once you understand why you feel the way you do, it makes it so much more clearer to your own behavior. But y'all take care. Leave a comment after this is all over. Enjoy your day, and I will get back with you later once I figure out what I am doing today. But take care. See you soon.